no European attention to that, it will finally end up with social explosion, because they are all ingredients, as I said. An ability of the government to pay even the pensions, salaries, big tension within the ruling elite, and with all the deplorable situation that we just described here, we see today that the opposition in Azerbaijan is not still broken. We see today that main opposition parties decided to boycott jointly the election. Just yesterday, the chairman of the Milli Shura of opposition parties, Cemil Hasanli, made appeal to all opposition parties to organize jointly manifestations. So opposition decided to boycott actively these illegal snap elections, and I criticized several times the government that your behavior, the way that you treat and you manage the country, creates a situation when the only solution for any change in the country is social explosion or social unrest. And unfortunately, if there is no support for the civil society, if there is no European voices just starting to do something about this, putting pressure on Ilham Aliyev, we might have completely deplorable, completely, unexpected or unpredictable developments in the future. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Musa, living in Belgium, an Azerbaijan living in Belgium. My question is mainly to the organizers of the event. Like, after all, we are all Azerbaijanis, we share the same blood and we share the same land. As you all know, during the month of February, it's a black month for us, as well as January and February. And it hurts me that we have to, during the month of February, that there is such an event to criticize elections. I understand everything. We can criticize elections, human rights in Azerbaijan, other problems, social issues, etc. But why especially during the month of February and just end of February, where we have to commemorate actually the events of Khojaly, where has been a genocide by the Armenian forces in Azerbaijan? That's my first question. And have you guys already organized something for Khojaly or not? And the second thing is to Mr. Former Ambassador, who is the co-chairman of ANT, Azerbaijan's Democracy, I guess, which stands for unity in Azerbaijan, for democracy in Azerbaijan, for a good future for the people of Azerbaijan. But I've been following the activities of Mr. Mammadov and ANT. In the directorate of ANT, there some few people who are standing openly for separation in Azerbaijan, for separation of regions in Azerbaijan, and Mr. Mammadov knows this himself as well. Other things is that my last question actually is also to Mr. Mammadov. Like, Mr. Mammadov criticizes not just, I'm trying to make my logic work, you know. Mr. Mammadov tries to, or is accusing the government of Azerbaijan a lot about fraud, financial problems with the EU institutions, with the EU Council, that Azerbaijan is damaging the how should I say, is damaging the image of the small country. Azerbaijan is damaging the image of the European Council. While Mr. Mammadov himself was for many years part of the Azerbaijani government, Azerbaijani diplomacy, I think for 15-16 years, if it's not more. He has been representing Azerbaijan in Brussels, in Strasbourg for many years. And just after being dismissed of position, Mr. Mammadov starts all this criticizing and everything. And these are the three questions on which I would like to have an answer, please.
Let me explain.
And then do
like regarding the Khojaly and to.
Could I? I'm very sorry to interrupt. Could I add very small.
Yeah, please.
Because these days, the last days of February, it's been a tradition for the Armenian lobby. They organize a lot of events in the European Parliament, European Council. They start to do a lot of things. Like they have triumph that they killed babies, they killed children in Khojaly. And today they have an event in the European Parliament also. And it hurts me that my valuable time I have to come here to ask my own Azerbaijanis why they don't organize an event for Khojaly instead of being a part of another event at the European Parliament where I could ask Armenians, why did you commit a genocide in Khojaly? Instead of that, I'm wasting my time here to ask you guys. It hurts my heart. It hurts my heart emotionally. It hurts myself also as a human being that I have to ask you guys why you organize this instead of organizing something for Khojaly and commemorate the 613 people who were killed during the cold month, as you said, as it's called in Brussels. That time, you know it very well, it was much more colder in Khojaly. Well, the children, the women, the men were forced outside of their houses without arms, without anything by the Armenian forces. And instead of commemorating that, thinking about that, I'm here asking a question to my former ambassador and to Mr. Husseinov, why you don't organize something for Khojaly.
Thank you very much for your questions.
Thanks a lot.
Regarding the Khojaly, as like civil society, we have a couple of media outlets, and we distribute a lot of materials to promote this tragedy in the world, and even we use the Instagram, etc. Regarding the make attention in international level, I believe for Azerbaijani government make a lot of things, quite good things for these issues. If you ask me, for example, our organization, I have a I'm not completely disagree with the Azerbaijani government. For me, even this not legitimate government, but even for this, I'm personally by myself. I make retweets by our mission in Geneva, and I put my additional things. I have thousands of my followers, and I'm doing this via my tools. I remember, even people ask me why you are not make distributions of this alert regarding your snap press conference. I'm here since from Monday, and I have a couple of private meetings in Europe, and we're always talking about the 1 million refugees, about peaceful community which is killed by occupant. But this is different issues. This is military conflict, which is all world, UN, all institutions, Council of Europe, even EU supported our territorial integrities, and thanks again for this. And this has happened in 1992. But now, we're talking about 631 murdered persons. This is genocide. But today, 613. One. And that is problem. This is happened a while ago, but we still continue to talk about it. Not only us. We are not very powerful. We don't have enough resources to organize lots of events. And we see when Azerbaijanis organize some events, we are attended. That's my response. And even I'm not distributed invitations for this day. But for me, I also believe without good governance, without democracy, without respect to human rights and rule of law, it's impossible to solve the issues with conflict in Nagorno-Karabakh. All world believe for Azerbaijan its victims. That is clear. Right now, what we need to do, we need to give much more brave state governance in Azerbaijan compared with Armenia, because Armenia is also a problematical state. And I don't have any illusions about Armenia. I know it's same regime, which is used by, he just tried to use Karabakh issues for his own ruling flow. But my role, if you ask me, I'm represented from human rights organization, which is covered only issues with freedom of expressions. That is one point. And again, I'm always to support any activities from Khojaly, But again, I'm not agree if somebody like criticize us. Sometimes I understand in the internet, lots of people try to change focus from one thing to another. This is completely two different strong problem. Karabakh is much more strong problem compared with like the problem with rule of law. But again, it's two simultaneous problems. Without solving issues with human rights and democracy in Azerbaijan, for me as like for human rights defenders, I never believe we can do something, because we don't have even good governance in Azerbaijan. We are completely maybe one of the totally corrupt country in the world, which is all world joking with us. And if you see for nepotism, issues which is not even happen in North Korea, like North Korean president or secretary general, Kim Jong-un, he's even not delivered second powerful role to his sister. She's person number 2 in the state. But even in North Korea, understand, for this is not looks nice. So you don't need to provide to half of the presidential power to your wife.
Yes.
Even say Mehriban Aliyev, she's person number 2 informally, like last 15 years, nobody knows this. But why you should look to all the world? And if you ask me, who joke with Azerbaijan, like even like some kind of our Armenian enemies, they not used our arguments. They always joking about, so looks, guys, even you don't have even democracy or small culture of democracy inside your own ruling party, you can able to find some kind of successful person which is able to replace you, even like in Putin in Russia, Putin Medvedev. They try to manage, play this game inside their family. That is, for me, it's shameful, I'm sorry. But please.
A small comment to your answer, sir.
Yeah.
You spoke about all the political issues, while I am talking just about the human thing, that just commemorating a genocide, you don't need a lot of more of resources like you organized today with a few people. Organize the same thing like for just commemorate Hocalı for 15 minutes, let's say.
Yeah, I just try to, because with this snap elections, all previous years, we tried to do our best for these initiatives, even in the US, in Europe. That's, for me, it's no principle. For me, Karabakh, refugees is always biggest heartbreaking problem, as like for Azerbaijan. But now when we have just less 2 months before the elections, which is unprecedented elections, it's open new page in our story when 7 years, even it's kill all hopes from civil society, from political opposition. You can imagine, I'm not politician, but I understand clearly they kill all hopes for democratic transition in the country. Even before 5 years, after 5 years, opposition have a time to just try to find some kind of hopes for the future. They say we should try to fight for freedoms, for human rights. Now people, community, are completely hopeless. That's.
We could do that in the beginning of March, not end of February. Just 2 days, 3 days, like just in respect of the people who were killed. That's all.
Okay. Firstly, I believe that this is completely immoral, shameful to use the memory of the victims of the war to promote the regime. This is completely immoral. This is the way that the government tries to attack anyone who criticizes the government on being pro-Armenian, that Armenians are organizing the same day some event in the European Parliament. This is like manipulation that is aimed to attack opposition. Everywhere, it's within the country, whoever criticizes the government, he is labeled as being pro-Armenian, the spy of the West, or whatever. Secondly, on Nagorno-Karabakh, on Khojaly, the memory of those who died in Khojaly are very, very dear to all of us. We remember their memory with sadness and with respect. I made my status on this thing on Facebook, and I would like to remind that my statements are read by more people than all official media in the country. We members of the AND participated at the demonstration held in Germany, in other places, on support of Khojaly. And the worst thing, as I say, that this is the way of the government to also one of the tools, as I said, the other tools as accusing of corruption or being pro-Armenian all the time anyone who criticizes the government. So that are you a student here?
Excuse me?
You said you're a student here, or you work in the government?
I have no connection with the government.
Okay, I doubt about that. Okay.
I would like to mention that I spoke with very much respect to you, as to Mr. Huseinov, which I didn't see from you in your speech. You started like...
We had many students, I knew, because...
I was asking you about Khojaly event and you linked me to the government.
Yeah, I am sure that there is link. Okay, I will try to find about that.
If you can prove that, I would be very proud of you.
We'll prove when we come to power. We will prove that.
It's good.
Yeah.
I hope one day you will come to power.
Yeah, be sure.
Yes. My other two questions about and that you criticize the government, the diplomacy, just after being dismissed of position, as you were years of in
because
we are not going to answer all the time to provocations.
It's not provocation. It's a fact that the members of are people who support the separation of Azerbaijan regions. And you say AND stands for unity and Azerbaijan democracy, while people in the directorate, people who are your right hand, your left hand, they are pro-separation in Azerbaijan. How we can link that? My logic is not working, sir.
Let me...
Like AND stands in general for Azerbaijan unity, Azerbaijan democracy, but people who are in AND, people who are in directorate of AND, stand openly for separation of Azerbaijan regions. So this is something I don't understand, Mr. Mamadov. Could you please answer me? I'm in open dialogue.
Yeah. We also
freedom of speech.
Yeah.
This is my freedom of speech.
We respect all your questions, and we have a live stream. No one. But again.
Yes, live stream, sir. Freedom of speech.
Yeah.
But the country, 20% of the country is occupied because of this regime, and everyone knows that. There are more facts coming on this. There is not any member of the AND who is for separation of the country. Name one single example when someone said about separation of the country. This is ridiculous, and I don't want to go to
I'm not going to vision certain persons.
To words shooting.
About whom I'm speaking.
But
people in the directorate of AND.
Go to embassy and ask for your reward.
You are the co-chairman of AND. You should be responsible for the organization, no?
Attention to main topics on our meeting, because it is snap elections.
Yeah.
Elections happen at 11 of April. And final call, what we want to say, no one from real opposition participated there. No one from civil society able to participate in election observation missions, like as part of international missions, as part of local. In these elections, regarding the Karabakh issues, this is very connected issues. Because now, I'm so sorry. I understand your points, but you need to understand also us. We are organize this event jointly with AND because Arif Mamad based here in Brussels. They have very good experience with cooperations and experience with negotiation with European institutions there. And right now we also, when we talk for I just want to add, for most of the people ask me why I'm as human rights defender, which is always fight for human rights and democracy in Azerbaijan, organized, for example, events with the former Azerbaijan government. But now, for us, each person from the government, which is decided what this is enough, all of this false what we have in our country must be stopped. This is our potential. We are all Azerbaijanis.
Yes.
We don't need to separate each other for you are working with, former journalists, which is famous journalist. No, I just told you.
Logic. Why Mr. Ambassador then, Mr. Ex-Ambassador, is accusing me of being a part of the government?
Yeah,
if I follow your logic,
I'm not agree with the ambassador regarding this. Maybe it's.
I know you.
Yeah,
the second thing is, Mr. Mammadov is putting
I know
in
you.
question
I know you. I recognize your face.
Mr. Mammadov is putting in question the legitimacy of the current government, and he wants to come to power in Azerbaijan. While I'm asking him about his legitimacy, he doesn't want to answer.
No,
he doesn't want to look me in the eyes.
Right
he looks like this.
Right now,
Is this the manner he will dialogue with me when he will be in power? I'm sorry. Then I will ask no one to vote for him. Because he doesn't want to.
Nobody will listen to you.
No.
Mr. Mammadov, I want to dialogue with you. Where is your dialogue?
Let's do like this, like in constructive way. I'm speaking.
I follow your construction, sir.
Yeah.
I follow your structure.
You know, Rasul Guli, former head of the government.
I'm not talking about these people. I'm talking about now. What is now?
Yeah, what is
you said Hojali is before and everything. Okay, I'm speaking about now. Mr. Mammadov wants to come to power. But I asked you
if there are other questions,
please.
Please.
Mr. Mammadov, this is not a way to handle your own system.
Okay.
This is not the way.
You're a good guy. Go to Fuad and he will explain.
Why you insult me? I'm speaking with respect. I came here.
I also respect you.
You didn't respect me. You started your speech with insult. This is not the way you should do it, Mr. Mammadov. This is not the right way to do it. I'm very sorry for it.
Please, give your question.
I'm not a part of anything, of any organization. I'm just an Azerbaijani.
I'm so sorry, but let's give the floor
and you are ignoring me, Mr. Mammadov. This is not the right way to do a press conference.
But we give it enough the floor for you to explain yourself.
You are accusing the government of not freedom of speech, not dialogue, not this, not that.
This one-man show. Okay,
I'm
sorry.
The same. You don't give freedom of rights.
I'm so sorry. We should finalize because we have 2 minutes left. And please.
I have my answers. Mr. Mammadov is going away from the questions.
But we don't have any censorship. We have a live stream. No worries. Like
yes,
you are.
Why not?
But they have the right to not respond. But again, I'm not like spokesperson from Mr. Mammadov. I'm completely from different organization. If you want to speak with me, I'm ready for. Even we have equipment and journals here. I'm ready for live like show with you. But again.
But here and now, not later when I will be in power, as Mr. Mammadov said, but here and now.
For me, it doesn't matter. I'm ready to stop all this.
I proved that your legitimacy, I didn't even put it on the question. I proved that your legitimacy doesn't exist.
Please give.
For you, it's okay. I don't need your legitimacy for
and
your
if you will prove something later, Mr. Mammadov, if you will write some things about me, or I don't know, on your Facebook page, I will not agree with it, because I'm here now to talk with you face to face. I will not go home behind the computer, I will write to you.
Please.
I'm face to face with you. If you don't dare, then you don't have the right to write about something later. You don't have the right, Mr. Mammadov, to write about. If you write something about me, then I will be very, very, very sad about what you're doing now.
Question.
I'm face to face. You go away from my questions, and later you will write on your Facebook page.
I'm so sorry.
This is not.
I'm so sorry.
This is not what you're doing.
My name is Abdul Latif. I'm a freelance journalist based in Brussels. So I am also associated with the news agency, which has been recently registered, and this office is already functional, and we are starting operation very soon. So the news agency name is Prentice News Agency. So my question is to understand Azerbaijan vote and boycott politics, about the opposition's decision. Why they went to go for boycott, why not they choose to join the vote politics and prove their public support. So what is the politics behind this?
Regarding boycott, yeah?
Yeah, regarding boycott.
It's opposition.
Boycott, now Mr. Mammadov is boycotting me also.
Yeah, on the boycott, firstly, there wasn't enough time to go to election. Normally, there should be at least 2 months before. There was just a decision was announced just a little bit 10 days before this 2 month period. There is no as I said, opposition media has been blocked. There is no possibility to go to the regions. When the leaders of opposition go to the regions, they are arrested. Popular Front chairman, deputies, all arrested. So why to go to elections and how you can go to elections in completely unfree environment? so that even though many opposition members, many people, including İsa Gambar and others, they expressed their will to go for elections, but when it was planned and it was announced for 17th of October, many were ready to go to elections. But when one day we knew that it is just postponed and scheduled 6 months ahead of already declared time of election, there was no sense. Even those who would like to go, there wasn't even technically not possible to go for elections. And this is also the kind of protest. This is also the kind of saying that we don't agree with such kind of management of elections when there is no space, there is no freedom, there is nothing. Why to go to completely, why to be the part of this game, why to be the part of this, theater?
And what will be the scene when...
This is also interrupt everyone with respect to every person, but I will leave this room because I'm not agreeing with you, sir.
Thank you.
What you are saying is not right.
Thank you very much for coming.
Face with you, you tell me, I will write about you later.
Thank you.
Talk to me, please.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Please.
You don't talk to me? It's very obvious what
I'm so sorry. We're happy to see you again in our conference. We are organizing a conference next time, just a week before election.
Just know that the man on your right side is not agreeing with you on philosophic power,
But again,
on philosophic platform and everything. I know you're co-organizing something, but when you co-organize something, you cannot marry with someone with whom you say, I don't share her thoughts or her philosophy. You're marrying two organizations, and you say you are something else and he's something else.
I'm from civil society. I'm not political affiliated person.
But he's a political affiliated person.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
You share the same platform.
I'm not share same vision.
Same table.
Yeah. No, we share. But sometimes I sit with Azerbaijani government on the side event, and we are organize debates about the issues what's happening in the country.
So you are not agreeing with Mr. Mammadov's ideas?
I'm not obliged to agree with everything what Mr. Mammadov. Mr. Mammadov is politicians.
Yes.
They have its own opinion, but I'm so sorry. But let's give us floor to last question. We are happy to see you again.
Yes. Yeah. But just know that Mr. Mammadov doesn't have the human right in order to write even one letter about me after this event, because I'm here in this event confronting myself with Mr. Mammadov on a very intelligent level, on a normal level, asking questions, in attending an answer, but I don't have the answers. He doesn't even look me in the eyes.
Okay, thank you for coming and for attending our event. It was a pleasure.
Me, please, about the end,
please,
about your position.
Please give
we have just only 2 minutes.
This is the way you will act when you will be in power.
I'm so sorry.
I don't need your support. Please go.
Please, we have another event. We should leave the
current regime is conducting now elections after in 2 months. And what will be your next strategy if he manages to show the power? So what
now the strategy before the elections is just 2 months of active boycott. Active boycott, when we say active boycott, we mean organizing the demonstrations, protesting against these snap elections. As I said, that chairman of the Milli Shura, Jamil Hassanli, called for all opposition forces to come together to organize the active boycott, and this appeal was positively received by other opposition parties. Month of March, there are many meetings which are planned by opposition, and I hope that this time there will be big support from the public for this opposition. Of course, it is very difficult to do something in such a short notice, in such a short period. But I'm sure that after the elections, government made a big mistake by rescheduling the time of the elections. It caused a relentlessness and it caused anger from the public opinion. So people start questioning, you are stealing our wealth, you are stealing our money, you are stealing our future, you are stealing our education, you are stealing normal medical services, and now you want to steal again our voices. So within the country we see strong resentment, strong disagreement and strong, anger about the government decision. I believe that there will be something. I know that opposition is constantly discussing the strategy afterwards. I hope that international community will also express its opinion. It's very important that these snap elections are not recognized by international organizations. If we can get if we can achieve that elections are not recognized by international community, it will be a very big success. And I hope that also opposition can bring together and big masses of people to the streets. And I am a believer in the future of my country. I am a believer in democracy. I am a believer for the European vacation of Azerbaijan, and I believe in the victory. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear guests. Unfortunately, we must stop. We don't have any more time, and probably we are organized something before, maybe months before election. Before now, it's only 28. I think maybe in 2 weeks we organize something again here when we already know how many participants registered as like candidate, and after we are able to respond much more detailedly to all your questions. Thank you very much for all of you, and I'm so sorry regarding this misunderstanding between participants and panelists, but it's always like this. This is that.
It was a provocation, believe me. I know this, man.
Thank you very much.